Blessed love, family, give thanks. Life giver and the keeper of life in all good doings and sayings, the father and mother of creation. We welcome you into the nest, the tiger's nest, and we are here highlighting for you tomorrow's edition of the Tiger's Temple. Tomorrow being Sunday specifically, the 22nd day of the month of May. Yes, we will be definitely having a wonderful edition of the Tiger's Temple. We will be definitely going into decoding the Bible. It is a wonderful session. How to read the manuscript, the reality of the canon, which is the very same Bible. And family, what we're going to do right now, I'm just going to highlight something for you. A lecture we did approximately a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago, directly dealing with the origin of the known Bible. But listen, family, this is just to prep you, get you ready for tomorrow evening in the Tiger's Temple. Do you have your passes yet? Do you have your keys yet to make sure that you are in the webinar space? Well, definitely all you have to do is contact us. You know what to do. Of course, email us preciseinstitute@gmail.com. Or you could contact us even via the WhatsApp and let us know that I would like to get my key, my ticket, electronic ticket to get into the Tiger's Temple tomorrow. Remember, it is just a small contribution of only $10. And of course, for just a touch more, you could get a month pass. Of course, you know this is something coming to you each and every Sunday. I'm talking about the Tiger's Temple. So remember, you can use the CashApp, PayPal. We have other means and ways of money transfer if these don't work for you. But if they do, remember the link is in the description below. The Tiger's Temple, 8 p.m. sharp, Sunday. We start on time. And remember, this is interactive. So you can come with your questions. You can come with even your ideas. And you can come and you can keep your camera on or you can take it off. It's up to you. We'll be having a wonderful sit-down session. Let me share some of this with you, as I said, from a previous, a lecture presentation that we did. Generation kind of ramsacked and took over the place. I'm talking of Kemet, a land that has been flourishing for thousands of years. We're talking about the Ramesses and the dynastic period of the Tutankhamons and the Akhenatons, and we can go on and on and on, and the Harkufs and the Taharkas and the what's the one that built the pyramid? The Taharka, yes, that's what I said. Right. No, that's not Khufu. Yes, and the pyramid builders, So when these people came in and built the temple or the Library of Alexandria, and they have been credited for this level of knowledge and information, you got to understand we're dealing with people that were in the land of knowledge and information. All right. The museum, the who? Mouse ion, the museum or museum. Follow me. The museum or museum at Alexandria, which included the famous Library of Alexandria, was an institution said to have been founded by Ptolemy I Soter. This original museum, institution of the Muses, Moses, was the home of music. I'm telling you, music, museum, music or poetry and poetry. A philosophical school. Listen to this, eh? This museum, what are you talking about? Listen, man, was the home of music and poetry, a philosophical school and library, such as Plato's Academy, and also a storehouse of texts. All the books in the world, the man say he wants. All the books in the world. Somebody must have tell him all stories belong to Anansi. What you talking about? The museum. Which museum? Not the museum. The museum. That is where the word museum comes from. As it says here, you know, it did not have a collection of works of art. Rather, it was an institution that brought together some of the best scholars of the Hellenistic world. Now, this is very important. Although it's saying Hellenistic world, again, you got to keep in mind where they are meeting. They are meeting in the center of the intellectual civilization of the planet, in Kemet, in Egypt, in Tameri. So this museum now, as you could see here, is where you get the modern word museum. This is a drawing of the museum from that time in 285 BC. Let's follow this good. This is around 285 BC. Let's follow the timeline. Very important. When was the Council of Jamnia? When they were, deciding which books were going in the Old Testament. That was 90 AD. All right. So that's about almost 400 years from this. Okay, good. And what's going on here? This is in Egypt. This is in Kemet. This is in the museum. All right. What is the museum, by the way? Well, the museum was a building that was built. It was originally called the Serapeum. Follow me good. This building that you're looking at here was originally called the Serapeum for the god Serapis. Remember, Soter, the Ptolemy, is he who fashioned the deity or the god Serapis, which is a blend. For those who may not know, the whole Serapis thing is like a blend of the ancient Kemetic deity known as Asar, which is Osiris. They used Asar, Osiris, and kind of mixed it up with some Greek philosophy and created a brand new god known as Serapis. And many people will argue Serapis or Serapis is really the predecessor of the modern day Christendom, Jesus Christ figure. So basically, it was a false god that Soter created. And the Serapeum, this place here, was created for Serapis. And then now, when his son came to power, they built over it, and it became a temple, the temple of Dionysus. And then after that, they did a little more reconstruction, and then it became the museum. But the museum was a university. Follow me good. This was an institution of higher learning. It wasn't just an old place where people come and talk. They had like, staff, restaurant, guest houses. Professors come and teach their class just like any university that you have today. This was the standard. I'm talking about the Library of Alexandria. Wow, what are you talking about? That's the highest of standard. Now, inside, if you look good, you see these? These are scrolls. These scrolls were not bought from the Hellenistic Empire. These scrolls, you don't have to bring no information to Egypt. Listen, nobody have to bring no book to Egypt. Give me a break. You don't need to bring no book, nothing on paper. There's nothing you need to bring to Kemet. It is all there. What you gonna bring to show us? Huh? What you gonna bring to show us? That foam can float in water? Or your rubber ducky don't sink? What is it that we don't know? So my point is that all these scrolls you see here are from Egypt. Keep in mind what's going on, you know. Alexander the fake, the murderer, and his coups after the murder and plunder of the land of North Africa, Northeast Africa. And after they have become successful in bringing to an end one of the greatest, if not the greatest, lengthy compilation of dynastic periods ever. I'm talking about the Nile River Empire, the Nile Valley civilization. After bringing that to an end, at least in Kemet, at least in Egypt, at least in Northeast Africa, after doing all of that, then they went on now to create a whole vibration around themselves, a whole religion, a whole idea. And they took all of the writings from the different temples, the different scrolls, and they packed them up into this place, the library of Alexandria, which was annexed to the museum or the museum. So what you are looking at here, look at these. These are Kemetic scrolls. These are papyri filled with our ancient writings, the story of Asa, the creation story of Canu, the creation story of Kepra, the creation story of Nut and how Nut brings the sun out of her womb, how Isis or Aset becomes Heteru or Hathor, the story of Sekhmet, the creation story of the Shabaka stone. All of this, our history, our theology, our religion, all of this is written within these scrolls that you are looking at right here, that are all stored inside of what is known as the museum. There is no Hebrew scrolls in here. There are no Sanskrit scrolls in here. There are no Latin, nothing in here. All of this information comes from the place where this building is, in Egypt. Now, this is the place where 72 individuals came. And I think according to the story, let's get it straight, they took about 72 days to fulfill this work. But however long they took, they came into the museum, the temple of Dionysus. Listen to me. They came into the Serapeum, and there was a book on one of the tables called the Torah. Some would argue that it wasn't the Torah, it was the Pentateuch. But let's not go too far right now. The point is, there was a Hebrew manuscript. I don't think it could have been a book. It had to have been scrolls too. It had to have been scrolls in Hebrew writing. Listen to me good. And this Torah or Pentateuch was used by the 72, and they translated this Torah into the Septuagint. Here it is. This Septuagint, which is in Greek, is said to be the translation of the Torah, which is written in Hebrew. Now, what is interesting here is that this took place not in the Temple of Solomon. This took place in a room, or at least in a building, in a university, known for its Kemetic scrolls, known for thousands of years of River Nile Valley civilization information, all packed up in this room. And these fellas went into this room for a couple of months. And they took, we are told, the Torah and created the Septuagint. Now, what is interesting here is that that Torah that they used to give the Septuagint, it's not around anymore. People speak about fragments and this and that, but it's not around anymore. We just have to take your word for it that this Septuagint, which is, don't lose me, which is the Bible as we know it today. For example, at the Council of Jamnia, 90 AD, when they decided what books they were going to use, what do you think they were taking it out of? The Septuagint. Even up to 397 at the Carthage Council, they were still dealing with the Septuagint. Okay. Now, before we dig down these scrolls here, I want to highlight, please follow everything. This is from the orthodoxchristianity.com. And this is highlighting here. Ethiopian Bible is oldest and most complete on earth. Listen, this is very important what I'm going into it. You see, we are a people that we just follow everything that we are told, whether it's on the news, whether it's in church, whether it's in the school, whether it's at Sunday school. The doctor says so, so we got to take the vaccine. The health man say that, so we got to wear a mask all day long and don't take it off at all, not even for a breath. So we just follow along what is told to us. Now follow this. Look, the granddaddy did, man. Watch that, man. Hear me, man. We got to cipher things out. The sword. World's first illustrated Christian Bible discovered at Ethiopian monastery. Please follow this. The world's earliest illustrated Christian book has been saved by a British charity. Wow, it saved the book. Wow. Oh, give thanks. Oh, yes, praise the Lord. Give me a break. Save it from what? Which located it at the remote Ethiopian monastery. Them people disrespectful with their language, eh? Talking about their saved book. James Bruce discovered the Nile in when 1790 something or the other. The incredible Garima Gospels are named after a monk who arrived in the African country in the 5th century and is said to have copied them out in just one day. Beautifully illustrated. The colors are still vivid, and thanks to the Ethiopian heritage have been conserved. Abba Garima arrived from Constantinople 494 AD, and legend has it that he was able to copy the Gospels in a day because God delayed the sun from setting. You know another story there? Yeah, man, when he was writing the book of Mary, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it was the book of Mary. When he was writing the book of Mary, yeah, the sun was going down and he didn't have any candle and all of that. And listen, the Most High, no, he prayed to the Most High to stop the sun. And the sun stopped, just like in Joshua, the sun stopped. And Mr. Garima finished off the Gospel of Mary and then prayed again, and God moved the sun for him. This is not a part of the Bible. This is about a man that was translating the Bible. Now you may say translating the Bible from what? Hold on. Now what this is saying here, according to carbon dating, however, gives a date between 330 and 650. This is AD for this book here. All right. So basically what we are highlighting is the anciency of the Ethiopian manuscripts written in Ge'ez. You're talking about the oldest complete illustrated Bible. But you see, some people overlook it because it's not written in Hebrew.
Yes, family. Sunday in the
There
Tigers
is politics in language as well.
temple. Fully.
There is politics in language.
Blessed love.
There are those of us who believe Hebrew is the first language that God spoke to man.